Hi everyone. I felt pulled to make a video to reach out to anybody who has a similar experience as me. And by that, I mean if there's anyone, a light worker out there that is called a Syrian light worker. We're from different parts. If you're awakened to discover that you're a Syrian light worker. And if you've seen past life memories of the war, um, we've heard, a lot of us have heard about the war. Um, we've heard about the Vedas, the Syrians got pulled into the war. I'm reaching out to see if there's anybody who has memory of the war. And I've made other videos about my experience with it, so I'll just share it here because more information has been coming through, and it's been like a year and a half, and I'm still processing the trauma of that war. And if there's anybody else out there who's also processing that trauma, those memories, you can reach out to me. We can maybe work together on it, help each other, fill in the pieces. I think that would be very helpful for us. So my past life memory of the war takes place, I'll show you exactly where. So this is the Canis Major with the Series A, Series B. I am probably going to cry in this video, but my planet was right here. Just make sure I'm sharing correctly. Yeah, like I know without any doubt. I know this since the moment I was awakened, which is the Lionsgate portal of 2020. Within, everything happened so fast that month. I was researching stuff on Egypt. I was researching stuff. That's when Jason Shurka's video came on about the pyramid code. That's when I started joining different groups, and somebody posted 4 constellations in one of the groups, just for people like, which one are you connected to? And I was scrolling through them, and this is the one that I got a severe reaction to. And just looking at it quickly, I was just pulled to this part of the constellation immediately. At that time, I didn't know what happened there. I just had a strong feeling that something happened there, something bad. I couldn't shake that feeling. So Jason Shurka's video happened. His video triggered more of my memories about the time in Egypt. I've made another video about that, but I'll just put everything in this one. So in his story, he says like he was the priest and he had a boy lover. I was another boy. There were 3 of us actually. I don't know why, videos, that Jason shared, like the guy didn't tell him that there were other boys. Maybe it's not even important at this time because the focus is on the pyramid code. But it immediately triggered memories. And if you want proof, like I could listen to just Jason's voice and start crying. Like I could tolerate his voice for a few seconds and I would start crying. And I've been processing those memories for a year and a half as well. The best part is I've watched one of his videos recently, like a week ago or something. And I just like, I didn't really care that much about the information. A lot of it I was already aware of, but I just kind of sat in the enjoyment that his voice no longer triggered me. I was just like, it just kind of showed I did the work. It took a long time. It's like on a daily basis. So that memory showed me a lot of, like, it was like puzzles, little bits and pieces, and there's still more coming through. I'm not going to share the stuff that's been coming through the past couple of weeks, but it's major. So going back to Canis Major, the war, why I'm making this video. Interesting thing. So I was born ethnically Jewish, not 100%, not where it counts. My maternal grandmother was Russian. So we're from the former Soviet Union. And anybody wants to talk about the Holocaust, don't, like, I have both sides of the family that were in the Holocaust, that suffered. I don't know about the 6 million, whether it's 6 million or 200,000. I don't know. I really don't care. I know, like, we didn't envision these relatives, they didn't just vanish, like they were murdered, the stories. We were not in the concentration camps. I know there's like a whole misunderstanding about concentration camps. Somebody was having that discussion with me. The official, and I taught this at the Museum of Jewish Heritage. The official version is there were no concentration camps in the Eastern Europe, like in the Soviet Union part of the Eastern Europe. There were none of that. By the time Germans entered that part of the world, they didn't bother building concentration camps. They just routed people into ghettos. And then after that, the ghettos were liquidated, and they would go into village by village and line people up and shoot them into these graves. And there's graves all over the place, including the village where my father grew up. So I don't know, there's a lot of misunderstandings. I don't know why. There's a lot of teachings about the Holocaust. Again, I taught it, so things are pretty clear. So I don't know why people think there's the whole debate about concentration camps in the Soviet part of Eastern Europe. Anyway, so that's kind of just my lineage, like the ethnic. So clear in genetics, I have the memories of the Holocaust, plus I have a past life that I was a little boy in the Holocaust as well. I was shot in the head. So there's that. But so why I'm talking about the Holocaust, there's a melody that's from Schindler's List. Again, I don't want to get into the conspiracy theories and stuff. I'm just like, it's a very powerful melody. It's performed through a violin, very emotional. And that melody, whenever I listen to it, doesn't just trigger my sadness about the Holocaust. It triggers my sadness about this war. And in this war, my planet was completely decimated. When the memories just started coming through, all I could see was complete destruction, like global destruction. I just saw bodies. Then as more memories coming through, a person came into my life last year, around November, close to December, like the winter solstice. He's somebody that was in my life, sort of weird, in a weird, very weird way, years ago, and then he just popped up on my Facebook all of a sudden. So I just kind of started engaging with him to figure out what this is, and it brought up more memories. So in the past lives, the two past lives that I just mentioned, the one in Canis Major in the war and the one in Egypt, he was there. He, in the war, he was the reptilian. He was leading the war. Um, so I know we've heard a lot of like these planets here. I've heard in other videos were more aquatic. And that's what I saw. I saw water. I saw a ship, like a military vessel, kind of like the ones we have where there's like thousands of troops. And I was, I guess, what's the ranking position? Captain or something of that vessel. And there was an attack, like a surprise attack. Like my second in command, which I'm just going to put everything is, if you've heard of Aaron Apka, he was my second in command. There's a whole story of how I know this, but I just remember us like looking at each other, and like when sometimes just eyes tell everything, it's like we're fucked, we're screwed. We're done. Like there's nothing we can do here. Like we can't, like we're done. All these thousands of troops are going to perish right now, and there's nothing we can do. And myself in the leadership role, the trauma partially is because I was in the leadership role, it was my responsibility and I failed. Or it feels like a failure, but it was like also a feeling like there was nothing I could do even. So reconciling that has been extremely painful. So everybody perished, including myself. And the second part of the trauma is, and I've heard this in other videos as well, that a lot of these souls, the trauma was so great that we just left. We left the system, we left to just get away from the trauma. And the feeling of like, I abandoned my world, I abandoned my people is with me. I'm getting an 89. Why was I even compelled to make this video? I was just listening to my music and the Schindler's List melody came on, and I just started bawling. I just started crying. And again, it was like the feelings like a little bit of the Holocaust, a little bit of like just how the evil of just everything, but it was more so about the destruction of my world. And just the person who was the reptilian, I have been in touch with him. I did tell him this whole story. And so I'm just kind of processing, like when I talked to him, I tried to be calm and rational. But in reality, I just want to say, you've destroyed my world. Like I want to get emotional with it, but he's not an emotional person. And he's keeping this cool. He just kind of listened to it. And sometimes it's like, it's frustrating because you just want to lash out, even though on the rational, it's like, it's not him anymore. He's like a spiritual teacher, and he's a different person. But my emotions want to lash out and say, like, you destroyed my world. How could you do this? Like, this is what I wanted to tell him. Like, how could you do something like that? And that's the difference between the emotions and the rational mind. We still got to process these emotions somehow. I'm feeling a lot of tightness right here, so it's like they're all right here. So yeah, it's been a year and a half of just trying to release these emotions over and over, and they're so intense. And yeah, I was wondering if anybody else is going through something similar out there and would like to share their information. It could be a healing. process for both of us, for all of us. I know there's groups for Syrians and all that, but I've been in them and they're just weird. They're not really what I'm talking about. You know, I just kind of thought, like, I know people like to give advice, oh, join this group, go do this, do that. Like, that's not what I'm asking. I'm just saying, is there a person who's going through something similar, who's going through a hard time? These emotions are extremely hard. And maybe could benefit from just working through it together, just sharing their story. It could be quite healing, you know, just talking. Yes, I tried to talk to him, and you know, he was trying to be from like the therapist perspective, like, but that's not what I wanted from him. I wanted a friend, like a back and forth. And he was keeping like that therapist cool, the, you know, not taking anything in, I'm just here for you. I'm like, that's not what I was looking for. Like, it doesn't help where you're just talking to a wall. I think it's a lot more beneficial where the person can empathize and know what you're going through, because they're going through something very similar. So yeah, if you have any questions about the memories, I didn't want to like talk about all the memories. This video is just kind of to reach out to people. But if you have questions, I just write.